Just did a workout here at the gym in Mexico, and I thought I'd just make a quick training video because I did the question and answers, a Q&A. The last video, you can see it here in my account. And one of the questions that I got from a couple of people was about how to build muscle, where I said you have to eat enough protein and that you should use progressive overload. So I was asked what progressive overload is. And this is something that people a lot of people miss this factor. And so they can go, I've seen people go say, okay, I'm doing 3 times 15 or something, and do biceps curl, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, okay, I'm done. I'm like, okay, usually you should be within at least within maybe 1 or 2 from fail, which failure is when you can't go anymore, it stops basically, or that's what it is. So if you go at least a few from that and not just go do and then that's it. So let's dive into it a little bit, what actually progressive overload is and how you can use that to build muscle and get your results. Because you can see a lot of people you can see them for a year in the gym if you go to the same gym, and a year later they're using the same weights, they're not lifting heavier, they're not bigger or anything, they look exactly the same, and they go 2-3 times per week to the gym. You can see them a lot and still nothing happens over a year. So to avoid that for you, let's talk about progressive overload. Okay, just before I get to some points about progressive overload, exactly what it is, just a tip. When you're doing this, and this might be obvious, but a lot of people want to switch up their exercises and what they're doing because they don't think it's fun otherwise. If you can take it, if you don't have to have fun, so to speak, and you can just say, okay, I just want to get stronger, I want to get bigger, I want to get leaner, whatever it is you want to do. If you're doing, for instance, you took this 10 pounder now, so just to show you, and so if I have 10 pounder and I'm doing a bicep curl on my arm day, then the next arm day, and I'll go through that in another video with programming and how to do your splits for your muscles and your workouts. But if I'm doing this, if I'm doing the bicep curl on one arm day, I should do it on the next arm day. And the reason for that, it's a good idea actually, I think, at least. Because if you do that, then it's gonna be easier to look at your progress. How many did I do, how heavy, everything that we're gonna go through, right? So let's go through some points and we'll see exactly what the progressive overload is. So if you do a quick Google search of progressive overload, it will give you some kind of definition like a method of strength training that advocates for the gradual increase of the stress placed upon the musculoskeletal and nervous system. Okay, so what does this mean? So progressive overload means you're making exercises gradually more difficult or strenuous over a period of time. This provides a stimulus for your muscles, which then creates an environment for adaptation. Adaptation means improving your ability to actually contract and recruit your muscle fibers and increase your muscle gains. If you instead do the same workout every single time without any progressive overload, your body eventually stops progressing since you've adapted to the stimulus you've given it. I see this a lot in gyms that people don't get results because of this, and they get frustrated and sad sometimes. So this is why it's important to keep increasing the stress to always provide your body with new stimulus. The problem that I often see is that people get lost in what types of stress are involved in progressive overload. So let's look at the basics of progressive overload. By far, the most common method of increasing stress for progressive overload is by increasing the resistance or the weights used in an exercise that you're doing. So if you keep lifting heavier and heavier weights, you gradually increase the stress on the trained muscle. So it's very straightforward and a very important way to progressively overload, especially if you're a beginner. After that, another factor is the amount of repetitions or reps that you do, which is especially important when you start having trouble increasing the weight. So the reps are the number of times you do an exercise in one go. So for something like the bicep curl, if you do 12 reps, you do 12 bicep curls before you put the bar or the dumbbells, if you're using that, back down, right? So the more reps means more stress. It's like with increasing the weights, which is pretty straightforward too, right? So you can shift your adaptation focus depending on how many reps you do. A third and important piece of progressive overload is the amount of sets you do. So sets are simply the amount of times you do a chosen amount of repetitions, reps. So if your program you have says that you're supposed to do 3 sets of 12, it means that you're doing 12 repetitions of that exercise 3 times. with some rest in between, of course. The more sets you do, the more stress you place on your body. Research suggests the sweet spot is around like anything between 12 and 20 sets per muscle group per week. These three pieces, the reps, the sets, and the weights lifted, are the fundamental pieces to progressive overload. So, when these are factored together, you get the progressive formula known as training volume. So to summarize this, an easy way to use progressive overload is to increase the weight you're lifting as long as you can keep good technique. Once you can't increase the weight more, you focus on repetitions or a combination. So let's say you're doing an exercise for 12 repetitions with a bar that weighs 15 kilos, and you just don't seem to be able to increase the weight more than 15 kilos. Well, then you take a slightly more heavy weight, let's say a 17.5 kilos or whatever it is that you have in your gym. If it's a bar, maybe you just put on, 0.25 on each side, so it's 15.5, but you get my drift. You take more than 15K, and you do maybe, what you can do, 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 repetitions, and then you keep doing that until you get to 15 repetitions with that weight. So with the third factor, weight lifted, increase the numbers of times per week that you train that muscle. When you increase the number of times per week that you train the muscle, just make sure you give the muscle time to recover. So at least 48 hours. So this is when the muscle actually grows. Other important factors for recovery are getting some good sleep is really important, and eating good food. So make sure you eat enough food, and especially a lot of protein. If you want guaranteed results at great prices, go to 105daystoheaven.com. We help you with fat loss, we help you with muscle gain, we help you get stronger, we help you become the fittest, best version of yourself. We also have run programs, results guaranteed. Just go there right now, or go to my page, thomasalm.com. You can always get on both of those, 105daystoheaven.com and thomasalm.com. You can have a free WhatsApp consultation with me.